Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Great Britain, or England, or the United Kingdom. I don't know what it's actually called, but I did see that one YouTube video that explained it all to me, and I really didn't care. And now I'm just as confused because, according to The Guardian, almost 700,000 people marched today to demand a people's vote on the Brexit deal. Okay. I thought you guys already voted on this. Why are we voting again? The center of London ground to a halt as an estimated 700,000 people from all over the UK marched peacefully on Parliament to demand a second referendum on Brexit. It was the biggest outpouring of public opposition to government policy since the anti-Iraq war protest in 2003. Good job, guys. But why? The number of people who descended on the Capitol to call for a people's vote exceeded all expectations of both the organizers and police. Addressing the crowds, which included dozens of MPs from all political parties, the TV personality and food writer Delia Smith said Brexit threatened to cause unmitigated chaos. Didn't y'all know that when you first voted for Brexit? Like, everyone was saying that. I don't understand. You thought it wasn't serious? Like, you thought people weren't telling the truth? I feel that way about Donald Trump here in the U.S. It's like people kept saying Trump is not good for the U.S. Trump is not good as president. And yet we still voted for Donald Trump to be the president. Do we get a second vote? Can we get a second chance? Because I would love that. Let's see. The only way we can avoid this total madness and win back our future has to be a people's vote. The Liberal Democratic leader, Vince Cable, that's an interesting name, said the march showed that British people were beginning to realize that politicians could not deliver a successful Brexit that would protect their jobs, livelihoods, and their children's futures. They were afraid of the havoc that would ensue and wanted a chance to stop it. So basically the past, 2 years have been a Sims game to them, where you just get to try out Brexit for a little bit. Let's just try that scenario and see what happens. It's like the disaster scenario in a Sims game, and you realize that, oh, it's actually going to end in a disaster. There's no way I can get myself out of this cacophonous mess. Interesting. People have woken up to the potential disaster, Cable said. We've realized there isn't a good deal coming out of this, and a lot of people are frightened. People are worried. The march coincided with a call from a senior government minister for Tory MPs to drop their ideological obsessions over Europe, which he said were now threatening to drive the country off a cliff. It's interesting also because just earlier this week, I believe it was French President Emmanuel Macron who was saying that we need to all drop this nationalist idea from our minds. People are, rightly so, getting a lot more nationalist. Nationalist, but not socialist. Not socialist at all, just nationalist. Nationalist capitalist. I guess that would still be like Nazi, just not Nazi. But it's interesting, people in America are like, make America great again, and then people in England are like, oh, England needs to be great, and people in other countries are like, no, my country needs to be great. And somehow we've all forgotten that we're all just humans at the end of the day, and we should be working to make Earth great as a whole. It doesn't matter where you're born. Like, nobody has a say in where you're born, just as much as nobody has a say in if you win the lottery or not. At least I don't think anyone has a say. I still think it's all rigged. But we'll see. Someone's going to win tonight and then on Tuesday night and be like a $3 billion person. But anyway, it's not going to be me or my family. But anyway, just like, can't we all just accept the fact that we're human beings? That we live on the same planet? That we literally have no say in how we're born? Or where we're born? Or why we're born? And just all work together to make the world great for once? Like, we've gotten past this age of tribal warfare and my country's better than yours, and my race is the super race, and I have more resources. Like, come on. People, wake up. Wake up. We're all human beings at the end of the day. And we should all be working to help each other out. There's literally enough resources for us to do that sustainably. So why are we like this? In an age where you can communicate with people around the world in less than seconds. I have calls to people in China like every day. Every day. In Italy. Every day. In Mexico. In Canada. And we get along. Sure, we have our disputes, but we figure them out. Why can't we do this for everything? I know the answer. It's ignorance. It's people that don't understand that we live in a global connected society. That thing, oh my goodness, the Chinese are going to take my gerb. Oh my goodness, these immigrants coming from Venezuela and Guatemala are going to take my gerb. I got to make America great again and build a 5,000-foot wall. It makes no sense. And I think that's what the British are realizing. Whatever Brexit meant, I really never looked into what Brexit was going to do. I still knew it was a bad thing. Anytime you sign a deal that basically closes off your trade agreements and just removes you from the whole global flow of things, you go back to your own currency, whatever it was going to do, you're probably going in the wrong direction. I know that there are people that are scared of this new world order, that everything's going to be under one system. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, there's no way it can't happen. We are all eventually going to realize, for greater or worse, that we are better working together than separately. It makes natural sense. Now, whether that means that the end of the world is coming and that there'll be an antichrist and some beast will rise from the sea and the woman with 10,000 crowns in her head and dragon's lips and whatever is going to happen, take that as you will. Revelations, I mean, come on. Take that as you will. I won't be around. I for sure won't be around because I pray every day. And my family prays for me every day. But regardless, people, look, we got to wake up. But anyway, so let's see what else this says. This weekend, however, there was no indication that Tory infighting over Brexit was subsiding. Theresa May, the Prime Minister, who behind me looks as confused as ever. To me, Theresa May always looks either confused or like she just, like a deer in the headlights. Has anyone noticed that? Like, that's her natural face. She has resting, confused face. RCF. And I don't know if there's a cure for it. She's not in over her head. I've watched plenty of parliamentary procedures where there's just all types of stuff going on. Have you ever sat and watched the Parliament of England or the United Kingdom or Great Britain, whatever it's called? Have you ever watched them like discuss things? It is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It's like a comedy all to itself. But then listening to Theresa May actually make coherent arguments on the fly, it almost seems like. And I'm like, damn, she made a good argument. Like, Theresa May is a boss. But she always looks like this. Just ridiculously confused. And I never understand why she looks like that. But I think she's a great person. But she's just surrounded by idiots. Which is the complete opposite for us in the White House. We have an idiot surrounded by a bunch of other idiots. And some are smart. Some are smart. Like the people that wrote that op-ed saying we're doing everything in our power to make sure Donald Trump doesn't destroy America. Anyway, so yeah, Theresa May is being warned by pro-Brexit cabinet ministers that they will vote against any deal she proposes unless they see legal guarantees that Britain can make a clean break in the future from the EU, which I don't get it. Why are you trying to leave the European Union? Someone tell me what good that actually does. Obviously, it does no good if you've got 700,000 people. Was it that many? Am I over exaggerating already? Yeah, 700,000 people marching. That doesn't sound like it's a good idea at this point. Like, come on. So, I don't even remember where I was in this. Yeah, the leader, blah, blah, blah. People have woken up to the potential of a disaster. Foreign Office Minister Sir Alan Duncan, the de facto deputy to Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt, said Conservative MPs and ministers now had a duty to show people they could deliver a sensible, moderate Brexit that was in the national interest. So what is a sensible, moderate Brexit? Like, we're just going to remove ourselves from part of the EU stuff? Like, what actually happens there? There simply is no ideal outcome that will suit everyone, he said. People have to step back from their ideological obsessions and accept a pragmatic compromise. Otherwise, we risk inflicting on ourselves massive economic damage as well as political damage domestically and internationally for years to come. This is the biggest get real moment of my political life. The fate of our country for decades will depend on this. I feel like he's like fighting Thanos right now. Like he's giving a pep speech to like the Avengers. It is as if we are driving towards a cliff, but won't face up to the reality that the road we have chosen will take us over the edge. So yeah, then it goes into the weekend, blah, blah, blah. Ministers, including Andrea Leadsom, Penny Mordaunt, whatever, I'm not going to read all these people's names, concerns that moves to solve the Irish border issue could tie the UK to the EU for the long term. Tensions are expected to surface, blah, 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 blah. With May's authority on the wane, Eurosceptic MPs and donors have been openly discussing the prospect of installing David Davis, the former Brexit secretary, as a short-term leader. A leadership challenge is triggered when 48 Tory MPs, blah, 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 blah. Demonstrators on March brandished placards saying Parliament's divided, the people must decide it. Why the lies, Boris? And time for an EU turn. John Bramage, who made a 4-hour car journey from Stockport, everyone knows where Stockport is, shout outs to Stockport, to take part, I don't know where Stockport actually is, said, we hold a general election to choose a new government every 5 years or less. Brexit is something far more important. Saying that it's undemocratic to hold another vote on it is nonsense. And here's just some of the pictures. I mean, you can kind of see, like, I guess people are angry, calling some of the politicians liars and things like that. Like, wow. I'm not going to read much more of this, but yeah, you can just kind of see here just how many people were actually voting. And it's just kind of crazy, kind of cool at the same time. There's an ad playing now. I love when ads play. But yeah, just amazing how just many people are marching. Let's see what this looks like, some of the video footage that they have here from The Guardian. You can kind of see it here. Just the sheer amount of people, that's quite amazing. It looks to me like people don't want to leave the European Union, and rightfully so. I mean, the European Union I thought was supposed to be this awesome thing, so why do people want to leave it? But yeah, that's why we value the EU. Someone said something. They said, this is about the people of this place coming together and saying, just like the EU, we value cooperation, we value immigration, we value working together in the best interests of everyone in this society. And to me, it's a global society. That's why we value the EU. It's not just a model of cooperation. It underpins the very cooperation that we need here. So, with that said, I've given you guys my argument as to, I think that we live in a globally connected society. And for people that don't understand that, I feel bad for you, son. But we got 98 problems, and cooperating shouldn't be one. And that's the bottom line for me, and I'm sticking to that. So let me know what your thoughts are on just society as a whole. Should we be building up walls at a time like this, or should we be breaking them down and figure out, how we can all just really work together to create a better place for all of us? I just don't understand. If there are countries with people that are having issues and they are under radical, tyrannical, ridiculous governments, which many times the U.S. has put in place through our interventions, or some other European country through the whole, colonization that happened in the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th centuries. Like, a few select countries have caused most of the world's issues that are still relevant today. And we get pissed off when those people realize that they're living in torrid conditions and want to leave and move to a country that's actually good and has opportunity for them. Makes no sense to me. Let the people come. Bring your huddled masses. You're sick, you're poor, you're whatever that statement is on Ellis Island, if it's in Ellis Island. But people should be allowed to move freely, and we need to have a global perspective that everyone, no matter where they're from, deserves an opportunity to live a life full of liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That's all I have today, folks. Let me know what you think, and I will see you all tomorrow. Say goodbye to Theresa May. Peace out.